All right, welcome back to our Tri-State Trends podcast. I got Robin Hill with me, who is just an amazing lady, but a wonderful producer, has killed it this year, has really come into her own. And I've watched as the months have accumulated, and accumulation is the word of the day here, my dear, because it's stacking. And I'm seeing you help a lot of families month in and month out. Confidence has got to be peaking. It's a pleasure to have you on today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you.
Good.
S- So, FFL Believe, let's talk about it. Let's talk about, the year you've put together and some of the things that you've done to ramp this thing up this year.
What have I done? Well, I'm just working hard. I'll tell you. I I I started spending more money about halfway through the year. That helped me.
Yeah.
I've I've got a very consistent schedule. I work all the time, no matter what. At the beginning of the year, I was working hard. I think at some point, if you look at my numbers throughout the year, you can probably tell when, but like in the summer, I started spending more money on more leads, which obviously helped. And just talking to more people does bring more confidence as far as what to say, what to do, who to put people with, and that sort of thing. Um, Even just a month or two ago, I told someone I still get nervous every time I do an appointment, and they couldn't believe that. And I was like, but then within the last month, I don't really feel that way anymore. Like, I feel at this point, if people don't purchase a policy, it wasn't necessarily my fault. That might sound crazy. I feel like I'm saying, I feel like I'm saying the right things now. I know what to say, and if they don't, buy it, it's their problem.
I like it. That means that you feel like you're giving it everything you've got. Because we know not everyone's going to buy, right? So,
Right.
nothing wrong with that mindset. It just means that you've worked yourself up to a place where you feel like you're bringing as much value as you can to a client. And I get that. So,
Yeah.
when you let's talk a little bit about your backdrop, kind of where you're coming from, how you found Family First Life, and what this opportunity has done for you.
Well, I've known Mindy her whole life and saw that she was doing this through Instagram. Actually, before that, I had wanted to do life insurance. I have another friend that works with another company, and he was doing really well. We just were slow to actually finally, just decide to do it. And then Mindy came around and she was doing it as well. And this friend was kind of going out of the business a little bit at that point. Um, and so I just talked to her and decided to give it a try. I had another business for 20 some years that I really didn't want to do anymore. Wasn't nearly even close to as profitable. um, I was very nervous at the beginning. I'm a completely different person now.
Wow.
Um, like I was afraid to even dial for the first 4 months. I did not dial for 4 months. Um, my husband would dial for me, and we went to convention in 2022, and Mindy said, "You need to just maybe hire a dialer if you're not going to dial because you're good at appointments." And so, but then I spoke with another friend a couple weeks later, and that person just said, "Quit being a baby and just pick up the phone."
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know, I just something about the way they said it. I just said, okay. And so I started dialing, and now I'm no problem. I don't mind dialing at all, you know. I don't know why I was afraid before, but now I'm not.
That's great. So, would it be fair? I don't know. What was the business before this?
Cleaning houses.
Got it. And did you have a team or were you the one doing it?
I was the one.
Okay. So, you look at this business versus that business. How do you feel?
This is 1,000% better. Like, I
1000%
I mean, I'm tired in a different way. The other job made me physically tired. This is more, mentally tired or whatever. I've never worked this hard in my life, honestly. I
Isn't that
always
crazy?
knew that there was something different out there for me. I just didn't know what it was or when it was gonna find me. I always felt like I could do anything that I could be taught. It just sort of, we all have those things we think we don't really share with people. I was like, I think I can do any job just if I'm taught to do it. And this came along, and I'm a little more of a slow start. I'm not like some of these people that just bust out, selling, 40 in their first month. I was just, I'm a slower person, I guess. Um, I only made like 60 last year. But I was afraid to quit my other job too. I guess I didn't have complete faith in myself.
Mm.
And last December, it's been almost a year now, I've been full time, and slowly every month, if you look at my numbers, it's just gotten better every month. So
I see you looking at your numbers. So I want you to tell us, what the months have been. How many families you help per month? Let's start with, where do you want to start with? What?
January was
Let's go.
12.
Okay, you helped
12,
12
okay.
families in January. Go ahead.
And then 19 for the next 2 months, 22, 19. Then in June, it went up to 32. Then in August was 54. September was 50, and this month was 41. And what's funny about that 41 is October was tough for me. And Mindy's been kind of laughing at me because I didn't even want to look at my numbers every week. And I put them together, and I'm like, I sold more than I thought I did.
Ha ha ha
Because
ha.
there were so many no's and so many difficult situations. You tend to get in that, like, you only see that, and you don't realize, okay, yeah, I had 8 appointments, 7 of them showed up. That's great. But like 4 of them couldn't qualify or didn't have money or whatever. You know what I mean? And you
Mm-hmm.
start to just get exhausted with the negative. And then at the end of the day, though, I still sold. Like I thought I had a bad week one week, and it was, 10.
Hmm.
And I remember like back in January, I was just hoping to have a 10 week one time. And now I have them all the time. And
Nice.
actually, when it's 10, I feel like it's a low week because I need
Ha.
15 to hit Hall of Fame. So it's kind of crazy how your brain starts to change after you know what you can do. Like, there's so many people we see. If they all actually qualified and could get a policy, it could be amazing. But, it's not quite like that.
I know, right? So, what's your schedule like to get this type of result? And what are you doing for leads?
I am doing strictly mortgage protection leads, a lot of fresh, a little bit of second chance, but mostly fresh now. And what was the other question? My schedule. I work from pretty much 8 to 6, 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, I work um, just till like 12 or noon on Saturdays.
Got it. So, you found a nice chord with what you can do every single week and then what you can enjoy for life. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Ha!
I work more than anything else. So
Dude, but
I
look at your numbers and the increasing of the numbers. Like it's the proof is in the pudding of what you're doing versus, what you were doing. How does it feel to be that much better, that much different, that much more in control to the point where if you help 10 for the week, you're like mad.
oh, I
That's
know, it's
correct.
crazy.
What does that look like? What does that feel
It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. Like, I mean, we need to always be improving though. I know that there's newer people that are like, "Oh, I want to be like you when I grow up," or whatever. And I'm just like, honestly, there is no trick to what I'm doing, I don't think. If you spend enough money and spend enough time, set enough appointments, talk to enough people, eventually someone's going to say yes and someone's going to qualify and you're going to get a sale. Like I felt like I had a bad week last week, and then yesterday I had like a 5 morning. It was just like amazing. Like, why can't every morning be like that? I tend to do that. Like when I have a great day, I'm like, why can't every day be like
That's
this?
all it is. That's all it
But
is.
you know, there are days when just the, there are a bunch of dud appointments, where nothing happens.
Right. But it always works out, right? As long as you're working, it works out.
Yeah, I've learned I think back when I was afraid, I used to just be afraid of everything, afraid of failure, whatever. And I've learned that it's okay to fail. It's okay to have a bad day. Just get up and do the same thing the next day. And the next day you may have a 5 morning, you may have a 10 day. You may have a 2 or 3 day. I mean, whatever it is, every little bit adds up and I don't think there's any trick to what I'm doing. I'm just, first of all, you just got to get out of bed at a decent time in the morning and be ready to work, no
Mm,
matter how you feel. I've had plenty of days where I felt like crap. I was discouraged or I was sick or whatever, and I just wanted to be in bed.
mm,
But if you have someone to be accountable to, that helps as well. I have someone that I'm accountable to, and and I work every single day that I'm supposed to work, and I do what I'm supposed to do whether I feel like it or not. I think that's a huge key. I don't know what people are doing. People can say they're working, but are they?
mm.
Are you really working?
Ha, ha,
Or
ha,
are
ha.
you just saying you're working? You could be sitting on live dials with your team, but are you talking to people or are you working? You know, um, I know that in the past when I was newer, I did a lot of talking on there. And it's like, if you really want to get work done, you got to focus on what you're supposed to do. Get your leads out, dial them, and do your appointments and just focus on what your goal is and just make it happen. I mean, it's really simple. It's really not complicated. Spend the money, get up and work. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's
I
simple.
really do.
I mean, every time someone's like, "What are you doing? I got to talk to you." I'm like, "I'm just doing what they said to do." And if somebody says no, okay. Today I talked to a guy. It was like the shortest appointment I ever had. Not even a minute long, I promise you. I couldn't even understand his voice. And it was the third appointment I set for him, and he hung up every time. Finally, I'm just like, do you want this coverage or not? He said, not really. I'm like, okay, bye.
Right.
Like just move on. Don't sit around and get discouraged about those kind of appointments. Just go to the next one. You never know when your next one's going to be that yes or that sale. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
really, I
100%.
really like that thinking. Like just okay, someone said no. So what? Make your next dial. Don't sit around and cry about it. It's not, not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, and that mindset has, it's funny because when you talk initially, it's like you didn't have that
Right. There's,
mindset.
oh, exactly.
And it sounds to me like repetition has built that mindset in you. Is that, was it,
100%.
was it anything else or was it just repetition?
Well, I think repetition, like I said earlier, like just I would say a month and a half, two ago, I still felt nervous at my appointments. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I want a sale so bad that I was nervous or what it was. But I had a lot of things, I think for me, it took me a while to figure out a script for everything that I was 100% comfortable with, like the dialing script. Took me a while to get the dial down that I am comfortable with. Then recently I had a lot, this something else that's frustrating is just when you think you got it all figured out, you don't got it all figured out. Because I was just telling someone, oh, I don't ever have any no shows. I'm doing great. Guess what? Next thing you know, I start having a couple weeks where half of my people are no showing. I feel like I'm doing the same thing I've always done. I have no clue what's going on. So then I talked to Mindy and she helped me tweak my dial script. She has a way of doing it that honestly I'll say I kind of didn't trust. I was afraid to do it. I didn't believe that it worked. I was doing more to tie down, it doesn't matter, but I was sending too many texts out to people. And so I decided to try her dialing script, and it's working. I mean, like I have anywhere from 0 to 2 no-shows a day. That's it. And that's kind of amazing. So there's that. And then as far as my in-home, well, it's not in-home. I still do some in-homes, which I love. I had an in-home yesterday. It was only 8 minutes from my house. It was such a good feeling to do an in-home, and it was a really good one. I got, 2 sales, found an annuity, some money for an annuity appointment that I set next week. Very excited about that. But
Nice.
for the most part, I'm on Zoom or FaceTime or phone. And I finally figured out my appointment script that I'm comfortable with. It's a mixture of all the things I've learned, and I added a little bit of my own stuff. And I think now I'm finally like, this is what I say. Because before I said things that I was told to say that didn't really necessarily like, I guess. I think everybody has to figure out what they're comfortable to say, as long as it's, getting the point across that needs to be, given. But I think that's part of what's helped me over the last maybe month and a half too, is really finding the right thing that I'm comfortable to say to people. Does that make
Well,
sense?
yeah, it makes sense, and it's shown up in the numbers. So thank you so much, Robin, for trending with us. You're crushing it. And I know you're looking to focus and continue to bring annuity volume to the table for your business. So things are just going to keep happening in a great way for you. So I'm excited that you've learned really the work algorithm. That's, I think, it's the working algorithm that
Mhm.
does so much for the mind.
Yeah.
It's not, the mind does something for the work algorithm, but when you have the work ethic and it's going and you run the schedule, it does a lot for the mind. And I think that's what I see here when I'm talking to you.
Well, and you know something, I have a wall here with a bunch of quotes on it that I've learned over the last year, things to say that I read. I can see them every day. And I had them just written on pieces of paper stuck on the wall, and my daughter-in-law actually framed them all for me. But one of the things that I think is really important is even like the word hope. People say, I hope that I will have a good day or whatever. Um, Someone told me hope is something that you can't control. If you can control it, you don't have to hope for it. Stop hoping and make it happen. There's so many things that we can make happen, and we just say, oh, I hope that I get,
Ah,
no, don't say, I hope I'm going to get 8 appointments. Make 8 appointments happen. Make it happen.
it's
Now,
good.
you can say, I hope that the clients will show up, because we
Right,
don't have control over that.
right,
To a point, we don't have control over that.
right.
You know, they could be nice and then just like decide they don't care to answer the phone. But don't hope that this business will work for you. Make it happen.
Work, yeah, that's strong.
So,
Strong words, Robin. I appreciate you so much for jumping on with us. This is an amazing one. Again, if you listen closely to this, you're going to hear the nuggets necessary to go from wherever you're at to 40 plus families a month. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate you very much. Take care.
thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you all for listening. God bless.